So part C is now going to be a SQL question where we're trying to write a SQL query that generates a one-column table of all the names of all dogs with exactly one child that has short fur. So a dog may have multiple children, but only one can have short fur. And it says to assume that the parents and dogs table from page 1 of this final study guide have been created. Since I don't have the study guide pulled up, I kind of just drew what the table should look like. So we have two tables defined. One is parents, one is dogs, and the parent has two columns. So it has a parent and it has a child, and these are both like names. And then in the dogs table, you have two columns. One is the name of the dog, and another is the fur. So it could have short or long fur. And it says the result of your query should contain two rows. So for example, Abraham and Fillmore. And your query should select the rows described even if the contents of parents and dogs were different. So basically it's saying you can't just go in directly to your data and look for the parents and dogs that satisfy that condition. So you can't just go in and select Abraham union select Fillmore. You actually have to write this code that would work for any kind of parents and dogs table. Okay, so with that out of the way, let's kind of first run through the general structure of all SQL queries. So it'll always have a select, and then it'll always have a from. It could have a where. It could have a group by. It could have a having. And then it could have an order by. So now let's think about which one of these are going to be necessary. So we already established that select and from are always necessary because we have to choose what we want to select and where we want to select it from. So since we know we need these two for sure, let's just write out select just to begin and our from later. So select, what are we going to select? Well, we want the names of the parents. So to get that, we can just select parent because that's going to be the name of the parent. Now we have to select it from parents. But we also need data from dogs because dogs is the one that has the fur length. So in order to get it from dogs, we have to do comma dogs. Okay, so now this is going to be a problem because if you remember what happens when you select from multiple column or multiple tables, well, it essentially cross multiplies all of the different rows of each other, even if they don't really make sense. So for example, you would have rows where the parent and child aren't the name and fur length of the corresponding dogs. So you basically have to restrict the columns or the rows that you pull from using a where. So it looks like we're going to have to use a where here. And in general, you're going to need a where when you select from multiple frames for multiple tables. So where here, well, we want to restrict it such that the child is the name of the dog we're looking at because we want to look at where the child has a certain fur length. So we want where child equals name. And then from that, we want and that dog that we specified where the child is equal to the name has to have a fur length of short. So it has to be fur equals short. Oh no. Cool. Now what's left to, or like what do we have so far? Basically now we have all of the columns, all of the rows, sorry, I keep on mixing them up, all of the rows where the child has short fur. But the problem is multiple parents can have children with short fur. So for example, if Abraham has two children and they both have short fur, then we're going to get Abraham twice in our search query. And that's not what we want because we only want dogs that have children with exactly one child with short fur. Okay, so in order to do that, we have to group by the name of our parent, right? Because we want only parents, like singular parents. We don't want Abraham twice. And we want them where they have exactly one child with short fur. So we want to group by parent. Group by parent. So then after we group by, we want to restrict it to where we only care about the parents that have exactly one child that satisfy that condition. So we having, and then you can use a count. And count has to equal 1 because those are going to be the ones where the dogs are equal to, or the dogs have short fur and they're children of the parent. So cool. And it turns out we had to use almost all of these conditions, or kind of like search tools, except for order by, because we don't really care about the order that we get the parents in. Awesome. Okay, so yep, that was the last problem, except for this just for fun, draw something you enjoyed problem. So yeah, hopefully this kind of exam walkthrough videos have been helpful for you guys. Hopefully if you came in lost about how to approach the problems, I kind of gave a good framework for how you can approach problems like these and kind of what's going through my mind when I'm trying to solve them. I wouldn't stress too much if you got some of them wrong, like before watching the videos, when you're working through them on your own. I definitely didn't get 100% when I took this final last year, sorry. So yeah, it's just important that you kind of, after reading through the solutions and maybe watching this video, that you understand where you went wrong and how you can kind of reframe your thinking so that when you solve problems like these in the future, you get to the right solution. So yeah, a lot of students like ask me about general study tips, and honestly, I think exactly what you're doing is the best thing to do, which is just solve past papers like these. And then if you don't understand the solution, just read through the solutions on your own. And then if you still don't understand, you can like watch these kind of videos, and hopefully that'll kind of get you on the right track. Yeah, super good job on getting this far into the course. You guys definitely learned a lot. I don't know who's watching this when, but if you see me around somehow, feel free to like say hi or ask me questions at 61A. I'm always happy to answer. So yeah, that's it for me. Good luck on studying for the final. I drew a pig because I liked hog.